Good morning, this is GIV. We are going to make a replacement and a cleaning of Beta 390 RR to 2019 air filter. So the element is very important to be removed on at regular intervals, because if you don't do this, the performance of the bike will be reduced with fuel consumption increasing. So what are we going to do? It's a breakdown structure of what we think we should do without checking on the books. So on the grounds of our experience. So let's go to do brainstorming about what we think now without checking about this kind of servicing. So here is a breakdown. So first point is about the type. Could be cartridge or sponge. Then for sure we have to remove a side cover. Then to clean with fuel, that's what we are thinking now without checking the books. And wet with motor oil, then close. So let's go to the manual. We can download the manual of the Beta online, and let's check with the mistakes we have made in this breakdown structure. First of all, it's a sponge, not a cartridge, so it's something in an element which we can clean. Otherwise, if it's a cartridge, the most of times we cannot remove it, we cannot change it. We have to change it because cleaning of the cartridges, it's almost impossible. Instead, with a sponge it's possible to clean it, but not with fuel. Instead, water and soap. Okay, remotion of the side cover, which is called saddle. Then there is something we have to put here, which is release the fastener, which are elastics holding the element of the filter. So there is another mistake, because you have not to use motor oil but filter oil. Motor oil, it's too heavy for this kind of issue. Then we have to dry. It's better to dry also after water and soap. So drying, it has two stages: clean water and soap, and filter oil. Then we have to, before closing, check if there are not other items, other things inside the box. So box check is important. Dirt and powder, dust are very dangerous for this kind of element. Important thing is to dry after oil, because you have to avoid dripping, which could be a mass of fluid going to the injection. So it's better to dry after this kind of wetting. So here is the bike, so we have to clean it before working. So what is better is to put it in the buster, the rear buster, and since we have to work in this area, clean it, avoiding dust getting inside the box. So pull outwards the side cover. Here is a sponge also, which is the protection from the outside air. So we can notice there is dirt here because of the usage off-road. Then we will release the fastener. Okay, here is some dirt. We will take care of it after pulling outwards the filter. So what we have to pay attention on is there are pins here we have not to damage. So while extracting it, we will notice there is some wet here, and it's not due to the cleaning, so maybe it's due to rain. And here is maybe fuel from usage. Let's clean the airbox now, taking care of the electrical contacts here, where we will use a specific product. So there we use an electrical and electronic contacts cleaner. Then we dry it. Just using this without pushing. Okay, now we have to clean this, and we use clean water and soap. So let's go. So it's not only problem of dust. Some liquids can go backwards from the injection, or oil also, and it's due, for example, for some fall of the motorbike, where liquids are going to float backwards in the injection system. Okay, so some oil here is concentrated, so let's put directly the soap here. Okay, now let's go to the dryer and let it drying a bit. So here is the oil filter. So we have to drip it a little bit. So after pouring this oil for filter, so let's go expanding, let it expand on the filter. Remember, we have not to let oil to drip after cleaning while in usage, so do not use too much oil. Okay, now we can dry it again and let gravity to do the job. We go to the inner part of the saddle and let's do the same job. With water and soap. Okay, let's extract it from water and let them to dry. Just wait for both the elements to dry completely. So let's go back to our board and try to figure out which are the things we learned by this experience. So we will try to add something from our experience to this breakdown structure. So the sponge, the element is very, very smooth. So what we have to do is to handle it very carefully. And the saddle has a sponge too, which needs to be cleaned. So, but this sponge, it's a little bit bigger in the width, so you have to clean it and dry very well, because it's not thin like the main element. So what we understand, it's better to dry it in the sun, and this is what we have done. So drying process also for the saddle sponge. Then the question about the oil filter has to be poured very carefully, because then we have to dry it to avoid dripping. And then we have to finish with closing and checking the box. Okay, waiting for the sponges to dry, we can check inside the box. And for example, we found these papers from the manufacturer of the filter. So it concerns the quality control of the filter. It means correct assembly. But this is paper. It's better not to have it inside the airbox, despite it's done by the factory. Well, after half an hour, we can assume the inner element of the air filter is completely dry. We can touch it. It has to be a little bit wet, but not dripping. So let's go putting it inside. So this is the upper part, as you can read here, and then we have to assume this is the right side. There are pins which has to match with their holes. Okay, after checking, I can say there are no holes for the pins, but it's just a question of matching the edge of the inner element with the edge of the box. Then it's the fastener, the element, the function of ensuring the position is demanded to. So we have cleaned the contacts. We can put the saddle and close. Also the saddle sponge is dry, so we can put it on, paying attention to these pins which have to copy here in the main fairing, and there are also these two pins to copy here and here. So first closing with the pins, and then there is this also. So the motion is to guide the upper one, and then while rotating a little bit the saddle, let the three pins here to get inside, and then the two pins are closed with a click. Okay, thank you for being with me. I liked very much to make doing this, and goodbye.